Hey, folks, welcome back to the Be the Bright podcast presented by Ridge Supply. My name is Matt Hawkins. I'm the owner of Ridge Supply. This is Jordan Spoon, the man behind our Instagram Arsenal account, which is our ambassador group. And we're here for our second episode with Arsenal's own Sheldon Thompson, who's the main builder at Rodeo Labs. Sheldon, welcome back.
Great to be back, Reggie.
Yes. Yeah, these guys call me Ridgie, which they're the only people that do. But they seem to really love it, so I just go with it.
You just roll with it?
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it started at Sea Otter, right?
Yes.
I don't even know why.
We had the best time at Sea Otter. Sea Otter was so fun. And it was so fun to see you and Nick just like giddy at being fully in the bike game, trenches of like the brands and the people behind the brands, and we just had a good time that week. It was
man, it was so good. The riding was great. You would probably know if you weren't at the Michelin star restaurants all the time, you would know the riding was really good, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
there's some jealousy there. We had a meal. I hope Justin is watching because he's amazing, but Justin Cogley, who he's got a restaurant called La Aubergine in Carmel by the Sea, and John Robichard knew him and wanted us to go there because we were staying with John, and we went, and the meal was like, it was ridiculous. I actually worked in fine dining and stuff, but this was just insane. And I was telling these guys, they were so jealous. They're still bitter about it now. But
I never would have guessed.
We got to go there. We were down in like a wine cellar private room, and we got served, I swear, I think it was 15 courses, and it was just incredible. But everything that we ate, you couldn't tell what it was. The things that they said it was, half of it, I was just like, I don't know what that word is. And then you'd put the bite of food in your mouth and just like, what? Like everything was gnarly. So shout out to Justin, who is an incredible ultra runner as well. And he's actually, there's a story there, but he's one of the people that really helped me get the running sock off and running.
Huh.
Hey, so Sheldon,
we had In and Out. It's cool.
Yeah. So we did Sea Otter, but before Sea Otter, we were, I met you at the Buck 50. And
right.
then last year, I elbowed my way. I was telling this story, but I elbowed my way into coming to Silverton. And Steven had said to me like, hey, you can come as long as you don't get mad at me. And I thought it was a little weird. Like maybe he didn't want me to come because he thought maybe I was like out of shape and wouldn't enjoy it or something. But I came to find out once I got there that he really it's so hard to like do those rides and that, the altitude and everything else, that he didn't want to set up expectations for people that they would be disappointed once they got there. But you were in the same boat, right? Like you hadn't ridden.
Oh man. Yeah. I was just coming off a broken hand. So
yeah.
I probably had a month of riding, which is not enough for.
Yeah, I was going to say, based on what I saw, a month of riding seems like a.
It was brutal. I
wasn't in great shape either, and I know Mike had been out there the year before, and Justin, young JJ, was out there with us too, and so there was this sense that it wasn't a race, obviously, at all, but I just remember on the first day we got there, when we went to you didn't stay with us, but I was
in the party pad.
we had a loft, and we had this loft that went up this ladder that was straight up, and there was 4 beds up there, and Steven and Nick and me and Justin were staying up there. Well, I just had to walk up the ladder to put my bag up there, and I was straight up winded. I mean, I was up there. I had to sit down on the bed, and I was like, "Whoa, this isn't good." Like that was like 4 steps up a ladder. I don't think people that haven't been to altitude comprehend how much harder it is, but you also weirdly, like, you can't really ride hard. That's
Right.
the other thing that saves you. If you were at sea level or lower, you could really be like attacking and ride hard and recover and attacking and ride. You can't do that up there. You basically, you get about 70% of what you're capable of and you're done. That's your threshold of what you can accomplish. So was that first day of riding for you? Was that also like, cause we had the most incredible first ride. That first ride
Oh
was
my
nuts.
gosh, it was just so mind blowing, that first ride. I mean, I still look at the photos from it and just like,
Yeah.
what like, we did this. And I think the funniest part is like, you know, we did that whole route. It was so mind blowing. Then 3 days later, we rented the Razors and drove it. We were like, wait, we actually rode this?
Yes, exactly.
What is wrong with us?
That's what I remember is that first big climb that we did. I'm like, we climbed this thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Through the avalanche and then, you know, with all the busted trees and everything, it was just so crazy.
I didn't know you guys rode the Razors on the same route.
Yeah, so we needed recovery day. I mean, we could have ridden, but the days were so big that Steven kind of planned in some recovery days. So we took one day where Steven had this great idea that he was going to rent helicopters and he was going to do like a drop bar heli drop. And that didn't happen, but we had been driving. When you drive into Silverton, there's like two, you know, side-by-side rental places. And one of them, I mean, first of all, that's like my kryptonite. I couldn't even drive by it. I mean, I was like, where are we? This is heaven, you know, like, and everywhere around there is, even the streets are, you can ride the side-by-sides on most of them. And there's just most of the population is actually there to do that or Jeep, you know, off-roading for the summer kind of thing. But so we rented them and we had, what was it? 3 of us, me, Sheldon, and somebody else, Travis, maybe. No, I can't remember. The three of us drove them. And then the other guys were either filming or riding. And so we would go up and then they did big descents with the crazy like moto helmets on.
Yeah. We shuttled bikes.
I do remember seeing
it was hilarious.
Of that.
But so people don't know, there is a full length film in the works from that. And your friend, Casey Wirtz, came out and shot, also with some help from Nick Tapia. And, one of the raddest things about being there when you're riding is that, I mean, you don't feel famous, but like there's something about like you're on the side of this mountain, you're climbing up it, or maybe you're walking and there's Casey like
definitely
buzzing
walking.
the drone. Yeah.
Right.
Buzzing the drone right beside you. And you're just like, you can't even be mad at it. You're like, they got my lard butt walking up this mountain on film.
The funniest part is we were like the talk of the town that entire week because all the Jeepers and ATVers were like, who are these freaking cyclists up there with this film crew? Like, and it was like movie quality. Like Casey's no joke. He owns his own production company, does amazing work, works for Adidas and like the MLS and all this stuff.
He was flying the drone while in the side-by-side.
And I was driving it and I was like, okay, just let me know what you need.
It was so rad.
Or like he had, you know, it's every bit of a $30,000 camera that he's like hanging out the side of the side-by-side with. And I'm like, if I hit a bump or take a wrong turn, like that camera's flying off the mountain.
Yes. That was such a great day. And but that first day that we rode, for people that have never been there, Silverton is, I think it's at 9,500 feet.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Already legit. So it's hard to breathe. But it's gorgeous. It's surrounded by, you're in the San Juans, but it's surrounded by mountains, literally like going 360, just going straight up. We kind of went out and went on this long fire roady, gravel road. And I think it's 5 or 6 miles to get up to Amicus Forks, which doesn't seem very long, but it takes a while. It took like an hour. And so you get up there and there was an avalanche. There was this massive, epic avalanche from the season before.
Yeah, it was probably it was one of the biggest snowfall years I think Colorado had. So the avalanches, I mean, they were taller than vehicles.
Yeah, the avalanche was probably 25 foot still deep that they had cut through, and it had been melting for months. Like, that's how big it was. But the trees were just, were just coming out of the way they had cut it. It was just the gnarliest thing. It was like a movie set. And then we started climbing up, and we climbed this ridiculous climb, which I honestly forgot about until we went back on the razors, like complete, like it never happened, because it was the first time we had climbed. But we climbed for,
I mean, it was a wall.
It had to have been 2 hours.
Yeah.
It had to have been. It was forever. And we walked a lot of it. We climbed, we'd walked, we'd climb, we walk. And one of the things that was really apparent right away was, like, it didn't matter what your skill level was. People like Steven and Nick, who may have had better form, they stopped to take pictures so darn much that it never really mattered. It wasn't like, we'd go up a hill and people would just take off and you'd never see them. We were constantly kind of close to each other or near each other. And that made suffering and being on your own, like, okay,
Photo pace is a big thing for rodeo.
Yes.
It's our rides take forever. It could be a 3-hour ride, but it takes us 6 because we stop so much for photos.
Yeah. But, and I never knew that. We don't do that here. I don't even take pictures when I ride, really, but
yeah, we know.
Yeah. When you guys, and I bought a camera and had the camera back and was like ready to try it. I remember that the first day, I took like 75 pictures. I thought I was doing something. And Steven had taken like 350 on the first day. And I was like, what? And then eventually during the week, one day he had taken 700 pictures.
Right.
And I just couldn't believe it. But I guess, it's a skill set and you learn to develop it and look for the eye and all that stuff. But it was super fun.
Definitely.
And when we got to the top, do you remember what it was like when we got to the top of that first climb?
Oh, man. It was like Mars up there. It's like, and then the snow came in. We stopped for lunch. We just stopped for like a sandwich or whatever. And out of nowhere, snow came in. And this was in August.
Yeah.
I don't know, what were we? We were probably at 12,000 feet, I bet.
Yes.
And just out of nowhere, clouds came in and it just started snowing on us. We were like, what?
I was taking a picture of you and Nick, like sitting down, like it was all beautiful and sunny. And then right in front of it, there was this cloud and it was like, but you're like in the cloud. So you don't even really see it at first. You're like, well, is that a cloud? And it was coming across at us so fast and it started hailing and snowing. And here we are exposed on the top of this mountain and nobody knew what to do other than just like put our jackets on and try to go down, because we didn't know if we were going to be stuck in it for hours or what, but it got cold.
Oh man. Yeah. It was just out of nowhere. And then we just had to do this crazy descent in the snow, in the hail. And then, it was probably 5-minute descent. And then it was just right back to like perfect bluebird sunny sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so bonkers, but that's the mountains. Like the mountains are so crazy.
It definitely made like bar bags and having a quick access, like, rain shell thing. It was like vital part of the trip. Well, that was the first day. And there's more to unpack on this that I could talk about Silverton for literally like days. But I do want to get back at it. This is the end of our first little bit here of our Silverton diving in, episode 28 of the Be the Bright podcast, with our special guest, Sheldon Thompson of Rodeo Labs. Sheldon, thanks for being here. Jordan, thanks for being here. If you need to subscribe, it's down here. If you need to hit the next episode, it's over this way. Thank you very much.